This session is brought to you by the Influence Marketing Platform. The Influence Marketing Platform is so intuitive, you'll swear it was built just for you. So go ahead and learn more about the automation software and get a demo at emarketingplatform.com.
Yeah, that works.
All right, next up. You're going to see a lot of me today, mostly because I like the way that I sound in front of a microphone. I've been told I have a face for microphones, so. Okay, so the next one is industry trends. I'm an analyst, so my full-time job is actually looking at metrics and numbers for another company. Like emails. Does it surprise you that we're not full-time on Really Good Emails? But we are going to be soon, probably, hopefully, I don't know. We'll see how things go. All right, so I look at lots of metrics. I do a lot of conduit analysis and spreadsheets and pivot tables. And so I'm always really interested in the numbers and how the industry is moving and things that are happening. And we have a lot of questions about what's my role like, so we've decided to do a session on that. So work trends. And essentially, why do we need an RGE survey when there's like a Litmus survey and a MailChimp survey and a Salesforce survey and an Adobe survey? And the truth is that all those usually cover their very segmented customer base. There's not a broad survey that is capturing as many people in email as possible. So we kind of took that on ourselves. As Matthew Smith mentioned at the beginning, we like to be agnostic. So, and it's not just enterprise users. The people that have the most money are the ones who usually do these big, massive email or surveys. And we don't know how biased their results are. And another reason is when they come up with the results, they don't usually talk about last year's results. So you don't really know which direction the industry is heading. You just know at the snapshot right here, this is where we're at. And we wanted to answer or ask some questions that others were not asking, maybe for brand guidelines or they just weren't interested and we were. So in other words, it takes a lot of time to compile a lot of data, but that's just because I'm lazy. It's actually not that hard. You get a spreadsheet from like Typeform or SurveyMonkey and then you put it into a pivot table and you can do it. But for some reason it takes you months. I'm working hard, guys! Okay. So over the last 2 years, we did this is our second year. We did it. Some of you may have taken it at the end of the year. Our average sample size is 1,300. That is a statistically significant sample size for all those statisticians in the room. I had to actually dust off my statistics book at one point while I was doing some of these analysis. And most people took 28 minutes, 38 seconds. And what that means is that people ain't gonna love it. 28 minutes? Is your boss out there? Don't show him that session. Don't show him this session. Just be like, oh, there's no. I didn't take that boss. I'm working hard. So very qualified. And what we got is a lot of information about the people. So a lot of the surveys that you'll see by brands talk about, open rates and click-through rates. I was more interested in who you are and how you interact with others and how you grow. And we're going to have a session after this about careers in email and what's the future of your career and where can you go. So really understanding who these people are. This is actually a new clicker. Part-time versus full-time. So 2017, we did the survey. 60% said they worked on email as a part-time as their job. It doesn't mean that they're part-time workers. It's just part-time in their job. Whereas in 2018, it went up to 63%. So either the question that we have is it becoming easier to build emails and you can now focus other parts of your job on other things, or the changing work environment, we don't know. So we dug in a little deeper in some of the questions. Okay, years of email. So 2017, this is kind of just the basis that we wanted to see. You'll see that there's a lot of people, even here, that are in this group that have only been, not only, sorry, 4 to 5 years in any career is kind of long nowadays, right? I'm one of the lifers. I started I think 12, 13 years ago in email. And year over year, you actually just see that it's kind of growing younger or a little bit older. But this section, which we call the 7-year itch, right? You are going from a point where you're a full-time worker, I'm doing this, oh, I hate this place. Right? But you do that promotion, I'm out of here. I've got that LinkedIn profile now. I can go get a job anywhere I want. Right? Which I find interesting. That means, to me, that there's always going to be growth opportunities for people that are younger in their careers. People are always going to be moving out. And it's always changing. Why do people do email? What got them interested in email? 61% of this lion's share said it was just part of the role. And we're going to talk, I'm preaching to the choir here, right? Like these people are like, oh yeah, my boss forced me to, and I didn't want to, and now I'm here at this conference, and then, like that kind of stuff. This school thing was really interesting. That's how I actually got started in email, because I had a group that I was sending a mass honor society thing to, and that's a weird flex. Sorry, guys. And that's what got me started using like MailChimp a long time ago, very beginning of the days. But it's when you look at why people are doing it, it's going to be a mixed bag. We don't really know. So there's not really a reason like, oh, I loved it so much. I saw it online one day and I just couldn't stop researching and deciding to change my whole career. I'm an email marketer. Right? But now you're like that. Now you're at this cool conference. So what are the roles? For the people, there are going to be some designers in here, there's going to be some analysts, there's going to be some developers. This is the mix. So everything to this part right here is people that's one focus, that's what they focus on at work all the time. Whereas a majority of us are now in charge of developing and designing and writing, or deliverability, which we didn't include, sorry, any deliverability folks in the room. That will be on next year's, don't worry. Okay? But we saw that project managers and writers were the biggest jump from year over year. There's more jobs in email and writing because I think people want that brand now to really shine for their company. And they're becoming more complex. You're having more segments, you're sending out more emails. And so you need more project managers to really understand what email is all about. Sorry, guys. Team size. Some people are wondering, what is the team size like? So something very exciting happened over here. Are you really excited about the team size?
We just wanted to say you missed engineers and MarTech people.
Oh, okay.
And deliverability.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm really glad that you brought that to all right. So, sorry if you're a single person, and loner here is not derogatory, it just means you're alone. Most people will be in a group of 2 to 3, so if you're working in a group of 2 to 3, this is probably typical that there's somebody else to help you out with it. So if you go on vacation, you don't have to always be plugged in, always wondering, is the email going out, what's going on, to share that load with somebody else. Well, interesting, we saw a 30% increase in 2018 with teams larger than 3. So it means that people are adding more to their team and putting more investment in their email team. There we go. All right, here we go. Remote life. So I work with a lot of remote workers, and so this is something I was really interested in because a lot of my developers and designers don't need to work in an office. And I never really thought that I needed to either. So I was like, this is self-serving, so one day I can go to my boss and be like, hey boss, did you know that we don't need to be at this office? Unfortunately, most companies don't believe that. Only 11%. But we're seeing bigger growth in remote work. I think companies are coming around to it, so helping us out there. But when it comes to designers, I feel really bad because you are essentially always going to be strapped to a desk for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like you could be out in the world and looking for inspiration anywhere. And then your boss is like, nope, you have to be here. Whereas compared to like an analyst, I mean, why is an analyst out more free than a designer? What are they doing?
It's a mouse.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So where do you fall? It doesn't really matter, but it's interesting. Okay, so 5-year course forecast in your role. So this, I want to know, are you excited? Do you want to be in email? Is this like your lifelong goal? And you know, most people believe that they're going to stay in their email role for the next 5 years and be promoted in that role. It's growing business, it's bringing ROI to the company. Promoted out of email, 22%. So they did something in their job in email that was like, oh, I can actually move out of email to something else. That's what I did a few years ago. And I don't actually do really anything for my business in email anymore. Really, emails is really my only outlet for email now. Not promoted out of email means you got promoted out of email. And then not promoted in email, 7%. So what I found really interesting is that 50% of people say they're going to be promoted out of email. So what does that mean for the industry? That there's no future? That there's something going on? Yeah. So what I found when I was doing more of the data is that it depends on your list size and the company you work for. So if you work for a really small company, you're wearing a lot of hats, which means that you can prove your value and do a lot of things. And your temporary role position is maybe 50-50, right? But the more you work, you get to a larger list size, your company sees the value, they double down in, they are essentially working so you can keep your job. And then you get bigger, that's almost like the 7-year-ish thing where you might see like, oh, bigger companies do this better than me, I might jump ship to another company who might do this differently. Or you might be like, this is really complicated, I don't want to be in this anymore. But then you come back down, you work for a really big brand that has over 1 million subscribers, you have a really good forecast to stay in email and believing the future of email and segmentation and where email MarTech is heading, right? So there's always like a grain of salt to take with all these stats, right? It's like, how do you divide the data and make sure, but I thought that was really interesting. And as your course of where you're at in your own role, in your own company, in your own list size, there are going to be some things that push you certain ways. And hopefully this is a good explanation of why that helps. But what we saw was from 2017 to 2018, this perspective didn't change. So essentially, if you work for a really big brand, you're going to stay future sense. If you work for a really small brand, you're kind of up in the air. You don't know what you're going to do. Biggest pain points. What do you guys hate working with your colleagues with? I got some smiles. Is that like PTSD smile? Yeah. It's like, I'm not talking about this. So the number one is cutting through opinions across the board. Doesn't matter your segment, doesn't matter your team size, it doesn't matter how long you've been working in email. Doesn't matter if you're an enterprise or a small company. Cutting through opinions is always going to be the hardest thing to do. Your boss says it one way, you say another. You jump into a spreadsheet, you try to convince him, he says no, she says no, sorry pronouns.
Good job.
Thank you. My boss is a he. I'm trying, I think it's a little too knowledgeable of what's going on in my life, sorry guys. Just organizing assets, coming up with new ideas. I mean, I think they're all equally, even though it's the biggest share, there's always other problems that you're going to hit. It doesn't matter when. So in other words, struggle's real, but there's a positive movement in all roles in email. Companies here that are sponsoring, non-sponsoring companies, sorry you're not here, but they're all working towards tools that make solving pain points easier. And as this technology improves, it will get easier for all of us. And that's really kind of showing with some new technologies that a lot of people talking about, like blockchain and AI, and they've been talking about for 10 years, it's about to happen one day. And then, what about the company? Who are you working with? So, in terms of list size, where are things growing? The lion's share still continues to be these small brands. they're like your, your personal connection. You might have your own little blog. That's where this lives. And as you move up, you essentially are still growing year over year. So email is becoming stronger year over year on list size. It's not decreasing. So there's always this, when iOS sent out this, like, it's easy to unsubscribe now, and or GDPR happened, we actually saw that that didn't affect a lot of list sizes. Or maybe they're just not GDPR compliant, and they're still reporting on this. Like, oh yeah, we have like 12 million subscribers and only 6. But the most important metric, so this is a thing that we hear a lot about, is open rates and click-through rates. Oh, what's the open rate on that subject line? What does that matter? Right? Does that bring us money? So I think a lot of companies get smarter on not focusing on these vanity metrics, and they're trying to dial down on what does that mean, email subscriber mean to us as a business. So you really see these money generated per subscriber, money generated per click. They have the largest growth year over year, and click-throughs and open rates actually declined on what their company cares about now. And I love, this is like one of my favorite stats, that we are getting away from vanity metrics, even though they're easily available in your ESP, and we're really understanding kind of the relationship to the business and the relationship the business has with the customer and how that's improving. Because if it's not a good email, they're not gonna buy, right? If it's not a good email, they're not gonna click or buy. So, very, very interesting. I'm gonna say that's very interesting to make it sound like it's interesting. Convince you guys it's interesting. Is that good? Okay. Time to complete an email. So how many days does it take from you start day 1 to finish and send it out? 2017 5.1, 2018 5.7, which I found interesting because I thought email was getting easier. There are a lot of tools that are supposed to speed this process up. We just added an additional person to my team to make this easier. Why is it taking me more time? So are there complications as the size grows? Is being smarter a thing that we're spending more time on? Are we spending more time on the email itself because we're driving different metrics? So we're not driving that click or that open, we're driving money, which makes it so our company is emphasizing on the deliverability of that or the impact that has on the business, and maybe testing a couple of different things out before we send it out. Number of emails at once. So how many emails are you working? I don't know, do you love these images? So Matthew talked about Unsplash, and I just literally went into person with. And I just put these. Because you don't want to look at those bar charts all day long. You want to see a guy who's twirling some blades. Right? That's totally random, sorry. But that's interesting. Okay, so we are sending, you are working on less emails at a time. So it kind of goes back to our previous slide. That we've decreased the number of emails being produced, which is actually probably better for subscribers. They're not getting more, and there's much less open clicks. So, just another way of looking at the data. So by list size, you'll see everyone grew, time increased no matter what across your list size. So even if you're small to enterprise, you're still going to improve, or your time to produce an email has increased, which is a good sign. And so in other words, email is getting more complex with an elevated focus on results. All right, the tools. So we got a lot of tools at our disposal. Have you guys seen the MarTech, like all the email marketing tech stack graphics that's like burns your eyeballs out because every single logo is so small. I think there's like over 7,000 right now on the market that have at least some viability. So I was interested in really seeing, okay, you got these surveys, are they real? What are people actually using? So we found was, this is actually me 5 weeks ago. So if you're a smaller company, this is kind of the cohort you're in, MailChimp, HubSpot, Campaign Monitor Group. If you are a medium-sized company, most likely you might be working with Salesforce or MailChimp. And then Adobe Marketo kind of comes up with higher echelon of those companies. And then large companies, Salesforce, Adobe, Oracle, and that's where this MailChimp and HubSpot really kind of lose out because they don't have a lot of the breadth and robustness. Is that a word, Kate? Robustness? Sure. Okay. No. Those are just the top three. Yeah. We actually stole Litmus's list, and then we said, if Litmus thinks this is a good list, we're going to take it. Yeah, so. Because I don't want to go put 7,000 in that list. That would have been a little tedious by 20, or maybe it would have been 20 minutes to 36 minutes to complete the survey. In need of extra toppings. So this is where your email doesn't do, your ESP doesn't do necessarily what you've hired it to do. You need it for something, but now you have to go get something else. So you might want to do like dynamic content, but MailChimp's not that great with it. Or you want to do live image changes, which you'll need something else for. So we found it really interesting that there's not one ESP that's like, I use that ESP and I don't use anything else. It does everything for me. So when you're going to your boss and saying, hey, I use X, but I also need to use Y, here's a good slide to use to say, this is just a normal thing. The ESPs do not cover everything for us. So the highest supplement was SendGrid. That's probably because historically it's only been transactional, so they needed something to be maybe more promotional. Lowest supplement was MailChimp and Campaign Group. That may be because of the size of the company that uses it, but they don't necessarily have a budget for other things, or they don't know what they can use. But then Salesforce, HubSpot, Oracle, those are the three that we saw from the previous slide. This is kind of where they sit, somewhere around there. And how happy are you with your email tools? 6 out of 10. Yeah. Does that spark noise? So.
Does that include all of the workbooks?
Yeah, it does all our Oracle products, all lumped into one. 7 out of 10 still isn't great. There's a lot of improvement for 7 out of 10. 2.6 is horrible. Sorry if there's any Oracle users or Oracle people in here.
Ex-Oracle user
Yeah.
for one, not Eloqua.
Just like I did.
I'm Eloqua.
Are you Alpha? So there's a lot of work to be done here, right? It's like, hey guys, did you know that a lot of people might not like what we're doing? They don't care. We have money in our big accounts. Right. So if you're unhappy, you are unhappy with the rest of us. Okay. So in other words, there's still a lot of improvement needed in ESPs. And we're really excited about those improvements. We've been talking to a lot of companies. We actually get like a behind the scenes, behind the curtain kind of view at a lot of companies because how they want to work with us and what they're working on, what they're improving on. And there's a lot of cool stuff going out there, but I just don't have timelines, and that's hard because like, well, that's cool, but if it's going to take 5 years to get to that, that doesn't really help me now, right? So that's there were probably another 40 slides that we could have worked on today to go through all of those, and even more. I've got spreadsheets and spreadsheets of everything, but essentially what I wanted to get to here is it's a moving industry, and you are going to essentially be ebbing and flowing through your career with the tools that you use now, and you're not going to always be happy about it, and you might want to jump ship to another company. And so our next session, which we're going to bring in couches for, right? Nice. Yeah. So we're going to go to break, but first we're going to have a panel of people and how they got to in their careers and some other interesting things. So we're going to break, get back.